What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Pour. I'm Jordan.
I'm Brian.
And today we've talked about stuff that we want to hunt this year in terms of bourbon and rye whiskeys. Today we're talking
things that we're not going to be hunting.
What are we overbuying?
Yeah, and this one more for me falls into a category of cost.
Yes,
I think some things have gotten a little out of control and gotten too high for my budget. So a lot of these I would love to have, but I just can't afford them. So there's just some things that
or it's just not worth it anymore.
Right.
There's a lot of good bottles out there that are readily available at good prices. So yeah.
Right. And some of them I haven't had, and I probably maybe if I've had them I would think differently. Mm-hmm. I know I would love to get a Parker's Heritage. Yeah. Some of those 16-17-year offerings, but they're $400. And you got to wait in line at the distillery for like 3 hours to get one.
Those two things don't add up to something that I am interested in.
Yeah, so that's that. I'll start off with that one.
Okay.
That would be one that I probably won't be hunting, just because of the cost. Now, and granted, it's a 16-17-year offering, so does it merit a higher price? It probably does. Yeah. Does it merit $400? I don't know. That seems like a big jump.
I don't drink in that area enough to tell you.
Right. Yeah. So that seems like a lot to me. So.
Yeah. Well, so for me, and I have really not paid or not bought in this area too much, but and I think if you've watched the channel before, you know my affinity for Wild Turkey, but their limited releases, I'm just done. Master's Keep, I've got the 17-year bottled and bond. That was one that I traded for, not even bourbon bottles. I traded for it, got that. I bought the Russell's 13. That was $150. Got the Russell's 15. That's a $250 bottle. Secondary's higher. I've avoided, and I was going to not get that one, but it came to me in a certain way that was okay. And then I follow the single rick house. I think it's $300.
$300, yeah.
And so what I always liked about Wild Turkey, growing up and cutting my teeth on in bourbon, was that it was affordable, it was accessible. It was like kind of like the average Joe's whiskey. And for the longest time, I actually didn't really taste it. But my dad would always put it in my stocking from when I was like 20. He still does it. I've got a little 200 milliliter bottle. He put it in my stocking as a joke from Christmas Vacation, getting cured off the Wild Turkey. He'd always put Wild Turkey. And one day I actually was like, hey, I'm going to try this. And I tasted it. It's great. So from that to spending $300 for a bottle, I'm just... I'll pass.
And it's hard because those are good offerings. They're phenomenal.
I know they're excellent, but it's not for me.
Yeah, it's rough. And then I'm trying to think, was it Triumph? Was that the Master's Keep Triumph? It was the rye.
Yeah. 10-year rye.
So I had an opportunity to buy that one, and it would have been $150, which I think this is a few years ago.
$150. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but that was retail.
Okay.
So that was retail price. Yeah. That's what Keith offered it to me.
Yeah.
Retail price. Yeah. And at that time I was pretty new into it. I was like, I don't want to pay $150.
Yeah.
Now I would definitely.
Just drop it down.
But still.
This one,
they've gone up to the $350. Yeah, $300.
I think this Master's Keep 17-year-old product, only the second bottled and bond product in Wild Turkey's history. I think MSRP on that was $175. That came out in 2020. Right. So from 2020 to 2024, we jumped from $175 to $300.
Right. I know costs went up, but still,
they haven't gone up that much.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. So the next one for me, and I've never got a bottle of this. I've tried 2 different batches of it. It is the Remus Gatsby. Okay. So that line, one of the years I tried was not very good. The other year I tried was phenomenal. But you're going to be paying $200, and I think it may be $300 now. You're gonna pay $300 for something that you don't know if it's going to be good or not. Yeah. And I'm just not willing to do that. It's sourced through. It's not really sourced because it's their own company. Yeah. Ross and Squibb and MGP. So basically putting out that product, which is it should be phenomenal every year. It shouldn't be any question come into play. Yeah. But that's just too much of a risk. If I heard something that this batch was phenomenal, then maybe. But I still don't know if I will at $300.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just above my price range.
All right. Hot take here. I don't think if I had an opportunity at retail, with the exception of one, that I would buy a Van Winkle product. And we were fortunate that your friend Tom Lewis let us taste Van Winkle products. And knowing the MSRP on them, I like the 15-year the best, but it's $200. And I just think that, unless this channel really grows and we start bringing in a bunch of money, I think I'm going to pass on that. If I'm using, personal finances for it, I think $200, that's just not worth it to me. The exception would be the old Rip Van Winkle, the 10-year. I think that's 130 retail.
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere around that.
So I would probably spring for that one. Lot B, definitely not. I think it's also 130. No, thank you. And then the rye, I think the rye is $200, and I'm just going to pass on those. And there's a second piece to that, and that is if I could find a BTAC offering at retail. In my mind, I'm comparing George T. Stagg, Thomas Handy, those two I've had, and the other ones I've not, but I'm comparing that. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to spend I think it's $150 now for a BTAC, maybe? Yeah.
So $149.
Yeah. If I could get George T. Stagg for that, for $150, I'm not going to buy a Van Winkle 15-year for $200. I'm just not going to do it because I like the BTAC stuff that I have had. I would pick that over any of the Van Winkle stuff.
I did. So I'm in a lottery for one of the stores that I go to, and they tell you what the prices are going to be. So there is a 23 and a 20. I want to say it's $5.99 for the 23, and then $4 something for the 20, which is a price that I would not pay. But I'm gonna sound hypocritical here. So I put that I would take them.
Yeah.
So if I win it, I will pay for it and buy it. But I don't think I'll open it up. I think I will trade.
Okay.
So I would use that as a bargaining chip to get something else that I wanted, and then maybe get 3 or 4 bottles for that $500 that I had to spend. But
that's a fair strategy. That's a fair strategy.
So but normally, I think even for the store that's doing it, that's not even retail.
Yeah.
So they're marking it up now. So you got big chain stores marking it up.
Yeah.
So it's the game.
Not a friendly environment.
Yeah. So it's rough, but everybody wants it. So I mean, it's what they got a gold mine. So I mean, that's what they're doing.
That's how they look at it. Yeah.
So and then so I guess my next offering up that would be so I did try this and it was okay. But the Woodford Masters collection, it was pretty salty.
130, I think.
About $130, and you had to get it at the distillery, so you're gonna have to be.
Oh, you do?
In that one we get.
No, it's not double oak.
It's double oak. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it was good, but I just don't know if it was $130 good.
And it's a 700 milliliter.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that was one I probably would back off on, and I like Woodford, but when I think Woodford, I think just the basic bottle. Or the double oak, and beyond that, they're pretty good bottles. Yeah, so that would be probably one that I'll take off my list for this year that I won't be looking for.
Cool. Now this one, Brian, I know was on your list to hunt. So maybe if I come across it, I'll get it and just let you buy it off of me. But the Old Forester 1924. Have you tasted it?
I have not.
Okay, so I tasted it, and I liked it. It's all right, but I was pretty disappointed in that it's $120, $115, something like that. I think it was 100 proof. I just felt like that was a little bit higher than what I would be willing to pay for it. Now, you are a much bigger Old Forester fan than I am, so I totally get why you would want it. But last year I was really excited about it. I missed out on it, and then I tasted it at a place in Louisville. And to me, it just tasted quite a bit like oddly enough, a Woodford Reserve.
Oh, okay.
It had a lot of the elements of that char note from like the double oak that I really like, and I thought, well, why would I buy this.
I think it's one of those I just want to get in my collection, and if I could get it,
it's good. I mean, it's good,
and it's a bottle that I'll probably just sip on and occasionally have it there for 10 years.
All fair.
So, but would I buy it multiple times? That's a different question. Yeah, probably not.
Different question. Yeah. But and like I said, you really like Old Forester more than I do. So
right. Yeah, and then now, kind of what all this comes down to is the same reason the ones we're buying. These are ones that we can afford. So the ones that these are getting out of our budget, and these are the ones we have to say pass on because we can't afford to buy them. So the secondary market. So I've never bought anything on the secondary market. Never once have I done it. I bought one bottle with the intent to put it on the secondary market. I reached out tried to do it the legal way, and they offered me like a really low ball offer. And I said, for that, I'll drink it. I drank it, and I loved it. It was my King of Kentucky. So I'm so happy I didn't try to do anything with that. And then I thought, I should never go that road. I mean, I'll trade. Trade's one thing. But just to go out there and overpay for something, I'm just not going to do it. So that's something I won't be doing. And that's, like I said, I hope. Now, the industry has to start changing. Unless it's just a bunch of rich guys out there drinking bourbon, and there's no need for us. Because we're not the rich guys out there drinking high-end bourbons, and that's just not our show. So I'm hoping that there's a transition to comes back down to the middle class people that just like to have a good time and drink good bourbon and enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah. So. Last one for me, and I've never had a bottle of this before. So it's kind of, and I don't like, general terms, I don't like finished whiskeys, but I always thought that this one would be kind of cool to get, but the price has crept up, and that is the Midwinter's Nights Dram in the High West. I think it used to be like $70 or $80, now it's $150, and I'm just not going to do that. Big risk on finished stuff with me as it is, and so I'll be a hard pass. And
some of that I've heard that they went from being sourced to their own distillate too.
Yeah, that obviously plays an impact probably on that pricing and all. But and much like you not doing secondary buying, I think one goal for me, this is kind of a little bit of a shift, is being pretty selective on what I do buy this year. And just enjoying what I do have. And I know that might not play really well with having a YouTube channel when you're trying to do different things, but hopefully we have interesting topics come up this year. But I do want to just kind of enjoy the too many bottles that I have.
my last one that I would say, and it kind of pains me to say because it's one of my very first ones that I ever found, and I've always hunted it each year, the Rebel 10. It's a 90 proof offering. It's a good bottle.
Is it 90 proof?
Yeah, it's lower proof.
I thought it was 100.
Well, I say that, but maybe I'll have to look at it. It's
somewhere
100 to 90.
It's not cask strength.
It's not cask strength. Yeah. But I went bourbon hunting a couple weeks ago, and I saw a bottle of it for $110. And normally if I see that bottle out, I'm going to jump. Yeah. And I saw $110 and I didn't jump. I didn't buy it. Right. And the last time I bought it, it was $99, and I thought that was a little too high. Yeah. It was $69 for several years, and then it went to the $99, and then if it's jumped up to $110,
you're out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
and I know how much you do like that bottle. That's a favorite of yours, so that's it's very unfortunate, but such is the case these days in the bourbon industry. So one thing I am kind of tired of seeing is every single new release and people talking about, this is a great value. This is a great value. It's a $70 small batch whiskey that it's like, I don't know. Whenever I got into bourbon, if you would have spent $70 for a bottle, it would just be unheard of.
Crazy.
Like, what is that? $35 was the entry level, or not entry level, but it was kind of. What I'm saying is that $35, the 75 is the new 35, and it's kind of weird. Jack Daniel's single barrel, the regular single barrel, they didn't make the barrel proof back then, but that was my premium pour, and it was $49.99, and God bless Jack Daniels, that's still the price for the regular single barrel 94 proofer. So, all right, well, that kind of wraps up our list. Let us know what are some of the bottles that you're just gonna pass on this year, or just not put the effort into. Let us know, drop in the comments below. But we're gonna end this episode the same way that we always do, and that is when you're with your family and your friends, always share your whiskey.